Good morning. I'm sending this video to you because you are on the search committee for Bethel Baptist Church as we hunt for, prayerfully, an associate pastor of students and families. If you are receiving this video, you have already spoke to me and have accepted the nomination with the exception of one of you, which I'm still waiting to hear back. However, I believe that you will accept the nomination. I believe you have received my messages, so I'm going to go ahead and include you in this. But as soon as I know that all 7 of us have received the nomination that says, yes, I will serve, then I will let you know who each other are so that you know who you're in this with. Instead of us having a meeting tomorrow and getting you all out of the house tomorrow night at church, I want you to watch this video. It's going to save you having to get out of the house. And this is all the information that would be in our first meeting anyway. And it's not going to be very long. So I'm going to get right to it here. I've already written down the information I want you to know. And so I'm going to go through this stuff, which is on my computer. The search committee will consist of 7 people. And most of the time we'll make decisions as a committee together. You will find out the same information that everybody else finds out on the committee and the same information that I have as well. There will be times where you will have the opportunity to be assigned certain tasks. Some of those tasks may include calling a candidate, may include sending an email, things like that. And so just let you know that those opportunities will come. But generally speaking, we will operate as a committee together and make decisions together. You all have equal input on the committee. You all have, I guess, what we would call veto power, although, probably may not ever get to the point where it comes to that. But it does sometimes in committees. In my last church, there was a process in which there was a 9-person committee looking for someone. And one lady on the committee would not say yes to a candidate. 8 of them did, but she would not. And they could not get her to budge. They finally had to give up on that candidate. And it was a good thing because the next person they brought on that had a 9-person vote was the Lord's person for that church. So you're on this group, and when we get together in meetings, we need you to, well, first of all, pray a lot before you come in there because we want your words to be the very words of God speaking through you. But we also need your honest, unbiased input. This isn't really a time for you to say to yourself, I'm not going to share that because I think everybody else isn't there. I don't want to go against the flow, that sort of thing. No, you need to say things. You need to speak your piece and speak your mind on these meetings. And if it sounds stupid, it sounds stupid. And we're all in this together anyway. Lord knows your pastor sounds stupid every now and then, so you'll be in good company, right? So when we get to these meetings, you want to come into those meetings prayed up. You want to come into those meetings in a good place. And you want to come to those meetings honestly and being able to say, I have concerns about this and that, and so we can go through those together. So just know that everything that we do as a group has to be preceded and lifted up in prayer. That is such an important part of our committee. I hope that you've already been praying about it, and I want you to start praying about it. Even if you haven't, go ahead and start making this a matter of your daily prayer. You're going to have people praying for you. So we need you to be praying about this. My role on this committee is I'm what's called ex officio, which basically means I'm there, but I'm not an official member of the committee. So what I'll be doing is I'll be guiding you and steering you through the process. Many of you have never been on a search committee before, and so you communicated this to me. Several of you did, like, I don't know what to do, but I'll be on it. Well, I told you, I said, that's my part. I've been on one of these. I've been, a number of times I've been on the receiving end of search committees. I've been contacted by them and talked to them and went to a church because of them. And a couple times in my churches, I've been on the hiring end of search committees as well. So I know what's right. I know what's appropriate. I know what we need to do. I know what we need when we need to do it. And so my job as your pastor and as an ex officio member of this committee is to provide some leadership and some support. Sometimes I'll be in front of you saying, let's go this way, let's go this way, and we need to do this, we need to do this. And sometimes I'll be behind you just saying, you got this. I'm going to encourage y'all. Y'all are doing a great job. You'll have my prayer and support, and I'm here for you guys. We're going to be good friends over the next couple of months. All right, let's talk about where we're at right now. I've already posted our job description at 2 websites. There was no reason for us to wait to do that. We wanted to go ahead and open it up. Those websites are the Southern Baptist Convention and the Alabama Baptist Convention. Bethel Baptist Church is a member of both those entities, and they are in cooperation with one and another. So don't think of those as two different places. That's just one Southern Baptist churches, and one of those was a national database of jobs, and one of those was a state database of jobs. Both of those are typically accessed by Southern Baptist candidates, and so a lot of the times the resumes that come through those places are candidates which have already looking for the same kind of thing that we're looking for. And so that's why those are very good things. Realistically, we would like 100 to 150 resumes, even more. You don't want to make a decision based off of just 20 resumes. You don't have a big enough pool. I mean, if you want to go catch a nice sized fish, you don't go fish in a mud puddle. You go fish in a big pond, right? And that's the same thing here. We need enough resumes so that we know that we have some good work and some typically good candidates because for every 100 resumes we get, there may only be really 10 wonderful ones in there that are going to work for us. And so we want to make sure we get that good sample size of resumes first. We have, just FYI, received about 20 to 25 resumes at this point. Our next meeting, our first meeting, this is your first meeting here, this video. Our first meeting together will be Sunday evening, the 23rd of September. Now, Catherine Waters has a baby shower at 2:30. We're going to meet immediately following that. I don't have the time yet, but it will be right there, so that those of you that do go to that baby shower, and I hope some of y'all do, those of you that go to the baby shower, you can stay and go straight to the meeting. You don't have to go back home, come back up to church, that sort of thing. We want to make that easy on you. So Sunday night, the 23rd of September, will be our first meeting. If you cannot make that, that's fine. If you're in a place where you can like FaceTime somebody and participate that way, that's great too. I understand that you may have some conflicts because this is short notice. And if you can't make the meeting, you can't make the meeting. We'll record it. We'll get you everything you need to know. All right. On that meeting, I will go ahead and provide the resumes that we have, although it will not be the entire list of resumes, and you can start looking at those and making notes on those, saying, I really think this one should be included in discussions for our church. And maybe this one here, no, this is obviously not a candidate that would work for us. And so you're going to have the opportunity to individually go over and study and prayerfully consider each of these candidates, and then we're going to get together and we're going to compare notes. Now, let me share with you a very important word about confidentiality. Although our process will be communicated to our church, this is a very confidential process when it comes to talking to individuals. Your knowledge that these individuals have submitted a resume to our church must be confidential, even as far as family members go. The primary reason for that is that we will receive resumes from individuals who are currently serving in good standing at a church, and their church is not aware that they may be looking, even though they feel like the Lord is leading them to look. And so our part in this process must be to protect their confidentiality. I trust all 7 of you, but you know, if 7 of us tell 2 people each, then that's 21 people that know. And out of those 21, there may be somebody that has a connection. Believe me, it's happened before. It's happened to me. I was in a search process when we were in the state of Ohio and we were looking at a church in Kentucky. One of those members of that search committee is actually a pastoral member. Decided to contact someone in Ohio just to see if he had ever heard of me or if he knew me. That person had heard of me and did know me, and contacted one of my deacons and told him I was searching, and it created a very bad time for me because my church found out that I was looking, and they did not need to know that. And so that negatively impacted us at the time. And so please, you have to protect everything we discuss in the meetings. And if anybody asks you anything about the process that you can't answer with a vague answer, like, we're just looking at candidates right now, that's a good answer. We have some folks that we're talking to more extensively. That's a good answer. But if they really want to know things that you're not sure about or not comfortable about in the area of confidentiality, then your answer is, let's go talk to Brother Harvey, or you need to call Brother Harvey about that. He's the one that can answer that. I'm not sure what I need to say there. So just know that you have to go through extraordinary lengths to keep secrets until we get to the point where we're ready to reveal a single person to our church, a single name, that is, to our church. And until that point, everything we do is behind the veil of confidentiality. Where are we in the process? All right, so we're receiving resumes right now, probably through about the end of September or till we get the number that we need. Then we will close that part of the process. At that point, the search committee will come together and we will go through a smaller number of resumes that we like, that we say to ourselves, this person, based on what we see on the resume, might be someone that would fit well in our church for our position. When we get those people together, maybe 10, maybe 20, we will present them an email saying, after review of your resume, the search committee has decided to request additional information from you. Will you please fill out the following questionnaire and return it as soon as possible? A good candidate will do that really fast. A couple will check out of the process at that point, which is normal. But we want to come up with some good questions, maybe 10 to 15 questions that a candidate will have to spend some prayer, some time, and some thought answering. Some of those are very obvious questions like, tell us your salvation story. Tell us how you are called to the ministry. Some of those questions, however, need to come from you as members of this search committee, and they may be questions that are specific to our church, to our youth group, to things that we have done, or to things that we would like to do one day. For example, you might say, let me just pull one out of my hip here because I have an example written down. Say, we have never done a True Love Weights before. Have you done True Love Weights? And can you tell us what your experience was? Or if you have not done True Love Weights, how do you address the idea of sexual purity with a youth group? And so that's a very thought-provoking, serious question that a candidate will need to spend some time in wording their answer to us. When we receive all those questions, we'll review them again, and it will be very obvious that the Lord is leading us to a very small number of candidates. And at that point, we'll go forward with some interviews over the computer, and we'll talk to them. And our goal is to get down to one and only one, and then to go through the process of a visit and bring them here and go through one at a time when we start talking about showing them our church and our ministry personally. Would you please pray and think about one or two questions that you think would be a good part of that questionnaire? Those don't all need to come from me as a pastor. You need to think about some that you would like to hear the candidate answer on paper in email as well, and get those to me, and we'll discuss those at our first meeting. Also, we're going to have to make a discussion. What do we think about candidates that may not fit the mold of exactly who we're looking for here at the church? The mold of our job description, which really does narrow itself down to a specific type of person. And I'm talking about people that differ from who we think are going to be coming to our church in terms of age, marital situation, experience, education, and gender. What if we get a candidate who's single versus married? Are we willing to entertain both, or do we want to toss all of the single ones and say that's just not right for us right now? What if we get a candidate that's older than the pastor? Is that somebody we want to consider, or do we want to say we have a definite age range here? What if we get a female candidate? What do we do with those? So those are some questions, and I have opinions on all those, but we're going to save that for when we get together and talk and decide what to do about those. All right, so according to my little running clock here, this is a 13-minute video, and I'm going to talk a couple more times here, so we'll about 14, 15 minutes of your time, and I sure do appreciate you. I do want you to reply saying you have watched this. Please let me know that you have watched this video. On the 23rd, we're going to have a meeting after the baby shower for Catherine Waters. So like I said, that's going to be about a 4 to 4:30 p.m. meeting on the 23rd of September. If you can't make it, please let me know. If you can make it, let me know that too, so I know that we'll have enough people there. And that'll be at the church, and it probably won't last over an hour, but it could be considerably shorter than that. All right, according to my notes, that's everything I wanted to share with you. Consider this video your first meeting. I saved you from having to get out of the house. Yay. Your job right now is to pray. Pray about this process. Pray about your spirit in this process. Pray about your attitude in this process. Pray that we can all be positive and upbeat and really attentive to how God is leading. I'm praying those things for myself too. Pray for that. And then pray about your contribution to this process. There may be areas that you have a specific interest in, and it may be that you represent that area to candidates through our process. Maybe some of you really want to represent involving parents. I think 3 of you are parents to active teenagers right now. So that might be questions that you want to, and you may want to represent that area of interest to our candidate. So pray. confidentiality. Everything is a secret, pretty much, unless you can answer with a great big vague answer. Is a secret. And then our next meeting is the 23rd, probably 4:30, but I will confirm that time slot with you. When we do have that meeting, I will possibly have some stuff in your hand then, or I may get it to you before then. So I do need to get y'all's emails. Reply to me with your email if you would. I think I have some of yours, but not everybody's. I think that's it. If there's any other things I have, I'll send them out on the remind, or I will let you know when I see you in person. Hope you all have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you all in worship tomorrow. Bye.